It is a delight to work with Tim Kaine. He is totally devoid of any pretentiousness. He's just so down to earth and real. Just a really genuine guy.
I find him to be someone who, although I'm on the opposite side of the aisle from him, to be and have a different philosophical approach to a number of issues. He's someone that I've always found to be very approachable, likable, someone who will be straightforward in terms of what their position is on something and whether or not we can work together on something. And on a number of occasions, we had the opportunity to do that.
It was always a pleasure to work with Senator Kaine, even before he was Senator Kaine, whether he was Governor Kaine or before when he was in local government. One of the great things about the senator is he was always, of course, incredibly intelligent, but also he was very well prepared. And he was always willing to sit down and discuss problems, no matter where those problems were.
Senator Kaine is a very principled, moral, but very pragmatic legislator and leader generally. He's a good listener. He's an enjoyable guy to be around. And he's so upbeat and positive that whenever you're around him, you feel really good about what the country's fortunes are likely to be.
A number of different memories, but I'll tell you one that I think really kind of epitomizes Tim's service. When people get elected to the Senate, they can kind of sometimes change just a little bit, and they love to make sure that people always come to the Senate for meetings and that everything takes place in the Senate. One of the things that really impressed me about Senator Kaine is right after he was elected, he had a lot of attributes and he had a lot of reasons why he would continue to have that same philosophy of coming to meetings in the Senate. But I remember him calling me to talk about national defense, and he literally wanted to come over to the House and come to my office and sit down and meet. And I think he did that with each of the members of the House. And I think we were all incredibly impressed at how willing he was to come over and really try to find accommodations, but not to just sit back in the Senate and say, you've got to come over to us. But he was always willing to meet people where they were.
I know that Senator Kaine worked very hard on work to recognize the Virginia Indian tribes, the Native American tribes in Virginia. And in doing so, there were some concerns raised about the particular legislation that he had, and I think Congressman Moran worked on in the House, and they were very much willing to accommodate some of the concerns that other members, including myself, had. So the end result was one that we could all support, and it passed, I think, with unanimous support from the Virginia delegation.
And so I think people look at Tim as a real person, somebody they can relate to and talk to. And he spends so much time here in Virginia, all over the state, working with and listening to and trying to understand what the needs are, and then taking that back to Washington to get things done.
Anytime you have a leader that is dedicated and hardworking and trying to find solutions, that's going to move Virginia forward. And certainly Senator Kaine has been in that tradition. But I think one of the great things that the senator has always been willing to do, I think it's kind of captured if you watch him when he's in a room. Some people go in a room and they're just talking based on whatever message they wanted to bring. I think the senator was always able to read the room very well and find out what people were very concerned about. I think one of the highlights of his service to Virginia is his ability to really find out what people cared about and try to find solutions that would help meet those problems. I think that's what's made him a very successful senator.
I think he wants to get things done, and he has deeply held beliefs that are often very different than other members of the congressional delegation and other members of the U.S. Senate. But he understands that in order to get things done, you need to be willing to listen to people that you don't always agree with and see if you can find common ground.
I'm just glad that the former members are recognizing Tim Kaine, because it's not just recognizing an individual. It's a matter of recognizing someone who stands for what we want to see more of: civility, not always trying to get the limelight by tweeting and making provocative extremist statements, but simply coming to work every day on behalf of all the people, and finding common bonds wherever they may exist, and invariably they do. Tim is defined by his own personal civility and his effort to bring about a greater civility within the United States Congress.